I gotta be honest, folks. I'm genuinely at a loss at how to intro this appropriately. So I think I'll just come out and say it. Conservatives are now spreading a conspiracy theory that Barron Trump and a whole slew of other figures in the MAGA world are time travelers. And I gotta be honest, I think a lot of this flows downstream from the fact that the entire conservative movement is trying to deal with their disenchantment when it comes to Donald Trump and his family. And I think it's like a mythos they're building for themselves to prepare for being incredibly disappointed, and also so they can avoid talking about what's actually happening, right? Like if you're talking about Barron Trump being a time traveler, then you're not talking about, Donald Trump not releasing the Epstein files, which, obviously a lot of people had a lot of conspiracies about Jeffrey Epstein, but you need to find something new and more bigger to conspiracy theorize about, because your big sweaty orange man hasn't released all the files yet for whatever totally not suspicious reason you can concoct. Who better to bring us on this journey of discovery than Brett Cooper, report cub reporter extraordinaire? Let's dive into it, shall we?
Right, the significance of the passage of time.
Dr. Barron who, you say, Von 400? Wait a minute. Von 400 said Dr. Barron who? Are you a time traveler? Von 400?
Guys, is Barron Trump a time traveler? Also, is Trump possibly visiting us as a past president from the 1800s? Those are questions that are circling online right now. Now, the Trump family obviously has been quick to deny all of these rumors of the president's son being a time traveler. I mean, like, nobody in their right mind is actually gonna be like, yes, Donald Trump's son is a time traveler, let's confirm this. But that right there is the craziest conspiracy that is currently taking the internet by storm. And interestingly, it doesn't just stop with Barron Trump and Donald Trump. It also includes Elon Musk. It also includes the shooter from the White House Correspondents' Center. It also includes hantavirus. And maybe what we should be taking from all of this is not necessarily that time travel does certifiably exist, but that our country has been in a predicament like this before. And somehow, by the grace of God, we survived. So
our country has been in a predicament of time travelers being around before. During the Great Temporal War of the early aughts, many don't remember it happening because entire timelines were eliminated, pruned from the multiverse entirely.
maybe it's not a prophecy. Maybe it's just...
Also, stop the stupidity. Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. I very, very much appreciate it. Thank you so goddamn much.
a coincidence and maybe a lot of history. Now, before we dive into this and I weave this tale for you guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, drop a comment below, and of course, if you want to stay up to date on everything we're doing here on The Fred Cooper Show, make sure to ring that notification bell. All right, I'm so excited about this episode. My fingers were tingling the entire time that I was writing this. This is just so cool. It's so up my alley. It's like crazy theories. It's niche internet content. I mean, it's not really niche. It's like literally going viral, but it's internet content. And then also at the end, we're going to analyze a book. Like my English major self is so happy. Like I promise you people, an English degree, I am putting it to use. All right, anyway. So while this story, this conspiracy theory about Barron Trump being a time traveler is going viral right now, this theory has actually been making the rounds since Trump's first term. So it originally blew up on 4chan, as all good theories do, and a lot of those communities truly believe that Barron was the future of this country and that these books that we're going to talk about are prophecies. But now, fast forward almost a decade, thanks to TikTok deep dives and Reddit threads and viral posts on X, these theories are becoming mainstream enough that actually Lara Trump and Kai Trump are even talking about it. Just watch.
Is Barron Trump a time traveler?
No, he's not.
You sure?
I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know. I've seen some stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
He's not. Don't worry.
There was a book written about the adventures of Barron Trump.
I gotta be honest, folks. I gotta be honest. It hurts. It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot to just hear people unironically throwing that shit out as if it's honest to God fact, when, I talked in a segment earlier about how everything is downstream of Donald Trump's like psychosis, his dementia, his deterioration, and like the conspiracy theories validate everything I said. Everything I said, okay?
By a clone. The real Trump is living under Manhattan with the mole people with the see-through skin. I see them once in a while on my to work. This is old news. This was all from 2020.
Well, the one thing you're wrong about is that those aren't mole people. They're ratmen. But thank you for the $10 super chat, David Cliff. God. All right. Okay. I'm just girding my loins before we take some additional mental damage. Here we go.
Not trying to ruin anybody or rain on any parades here. Barron Trump is not a time traveler. Sorry to say it. I'm sorry. I broke a lot of people's hearts today. Yeah, I think the theory's crazy, obviously. But listen, that should show you out there how much like really crazy stuff exists, okay? Name me one time traveler. Name me anybody who
Name me one time traveler. This is heavy. I am suffering intellectual collapse. My buddy Dave is a time traveler. My buddy Dave down at the hardware store, he hangs out there. He's got a tinfoil hat on. He says it prevents the aliens from learning his secrets, his future secrets. Now that there are other time travelers that being thrown into the mix here, like who knows? Dave might be really legit. He might be part of the alien time traveler war.
actually can say that that's a real thing. It doesn't exist.
Name me one time traveler. It does not exist. All right, we've heard that from the Trump family. Let's put away the conspiracy. It does not exist. The Trump family told us he's not a time traveler, so obviously let's just believe them. It's debunked once and for all. Now, just as an aside, this is now like so mainstream. Obviously, Kai and Lara are talking about it. The Guardian even wrote an article about it over the last couple of weeks, and they actually had a line specifically about Lara's response here that you just saw. And I am so sorry, Lara, because I do really like her, but this line was hysterical. The author wrote, "Wow, that was actually a really good point, Lara. I initially thought the theory might have legs, but now that you mention it, I can't actually name a time traveler, not a single one. With analytical skills like these, it is no wonder Lara has her own show on Fox News and once served as the co-chair of the Republican National Committee." Now, obviously, this writer does not like the Trump family, does not like Republicans, but it is quite funny. And like, obviously, no offense to Lara. I went on her show. She was so kind and gracious, literally like flew her entire team, all the Secret Service down to Nashville to work with me. It was wonderful. But in her defense, like, I don't even know how you would respond to allegations of your brother-in-law being a time traveler, but we do have to admit her saying, "Name me one time traveler, they don't exist," is pretty funny. Anyway, moving on from that, I just wanted to lay that groundwork and give the context that this is becoming pretty mainstream. It's getting a lot of attention these days. So in order to understand this now viral story, we need to take it all the way back to the late 1800s, because this is where this conspiracy theory originates. So
I can't stress enough that the late 1800s is not where this conspiracy theory originates. Because if it originated in the 1800s, then it would have been a conspiracy theory the entire time since then. Why is she yelling like Mr. Beast? Because you gotta, look, she's playing the YouTube game, all right? I don't play the YouTube game, but she plays the YouTube game, okay? You know, like, she's doing the Logan Paul, you know, like, "What up, it's your boy Logan Paul, I'm here to blow up 50 Ferraris. You get to watch me blow up 50 Ferraris. That's what you all came here for. Also, I will punch a guy, but I won't tell you when. It'll be really funny, and there's a 50% chance I might punch him in the balls." Like, you know, like, the YouTube thing that people do.
Ingersoll Lockwood, who is an American lawyer, a diplomat, and author, wrote a series of children's novellas, which starred a protagonist named Barron Trump. So you can see the covers of the books here. There are two of them.
Yeah, just want to say it'd be a lot weirder and more coincidental if it was spelled like Barron Trump is spelled now. Just in case you guys forgot, Barron Trump's name is actually not spelled the same. Come on, guys. Stop it.
Jack,
It's Paladin from the future.
No!
I came back to warn you not to watch the Barron Trump segment. If you do. ...
What if I do? What will happen? You have to give us the future knowledge. Paladin of the future, let us know. Tell us your wisdom. What great catastrophes can we avoid?
The first one was called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, and then the second was called The Travels and Adventures of Little Barron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger. So you might be thinking, okay, whatever. You know, John Smith, there's plenty of books with people's names in them. I'm named after a literary character. Who cares, Brett? Whatever. But we can't stop there. Because in these novellas, Little Barron Trump was a wealthy young boy who lived in some place called Castle Trump and went on...
What? A wealthy person living in a castle? It must be that time travel is the most logical explanation.
On time traveling adventures with his dog. And you might think, okay, that's funny. He's living in like the equivalent of Trump Tower, but we can dial in even more, because back in the 80s, Trump was actually in the casino business, and for a time, one of his New Jersey casinos was named Trump Castle. And you can see an old commercial right here. They did all of these like royalty themed commercials.
Okay, but also, I don't want to just see it. I want to experience it, okay? I want to experience it. Show me Trump Castle. Do it. Here we go.
Trump's Castle in Atlantic City opened in 1985. It was renamed Trump's...
Wait, did they not get the original audio from the commercial?
80s. This quirky Trump's Castle...
No, they didn't get the fucking audio from the commercial. It looks like such dog shit. Cool. Cool stuff. Awesome.
And then you can see Trump's castle. And again, you might think, okay, whatever, that's silly.
Yeah, Barron Trump. Be Barron Trump. Be the foretold child of destiny who will travel through time. Doesn't kill baby Hitler. Doesn't stop 9/11.
That's fun, but again, the comparisons between Barron Trump today and these novels from the 1800s, they don't just stop there, because little Barron, in these books, he is guided by a mentor.
No.
Jack, it's Paladin from the other future. I had to kill my doppel. You have to watch the Barron video. The future depends on you.
Wait, Paladin of the other future. Is this like a Looper situation? There can only be one, a Looper Highlander situation? Oh no. A Looper Highlander Back to the Future situation?
And that mentor's name is Dawn. The mentor in the man.
Whoa. That's crazy. A mentor named Dawn who lives in Trump Castle? There could only be one explanation. Time travel's real.
Who is helping guide Barron on these adventures, time traveling to Russia, time traveling all over the world. His name is Dawn. And also in the book, the Trump family, the family of Barron Trump, is of German descent, much like our modern day Trumps are now. And yet, guys, it still gets even stranger. Because Ingersoll Lockwood did not just write The Marvelous Adventures of Barron Trump, he also wrote another novella. This one he wrote in 1896, and this one was called The Last President. It also went by 1900s, so it had two different titles, but most commonly it is known as The Last President. And it follows a unlikely populist leader, an unexpected outsider candidate who happens to win the presidency in the United States of America.
Whoa, that's crazy. No one had ever written a story about a different person winning the presidency. You know, in the post-Civil War period, no one would be wondering about that.
Ushering in, unfortunately, the downfall of the USA. But listen to this. This author writes, the second book, The Last President, is where things get even stranger in regards to this conspiracy theory. It describes a shocking and contentious election that leaves New York City, Trump's hometown, in chaos. Protesters storm Fifth Avenue, where Trump Tower stands today, led by anarchists and socialists outraged.
No, it has to have been the Fifth Avenue. It foretold Trump Tower. He's the chosen one. Lisan al-Gaib. Listen, Al-Gaib!
by the election of a populist president. Adding to the intrigue, the fictional president appoints a man named Pence to his cabinet. I mean, come on. It's just like, this is so much fun. It's so crazy, but it is so much fun. But guys, we still are not finished. We have to tie all of this together. So bouncing back to Little Baron and his adventures, you should know that Little Baron Trump in the book, his best friend is named Elon. So now we have Elon Musk accidentally in the mix. Elon obviously makes us think of Tesla, and what do you know? Iconic inventor and engineer Nikola Tesla is also part of this theory. So this is—
Wow, that's crazy. Hey guys, so obviously when I saw this, and I did watch like the first couple minutes of this, the first thing I did was Google, what the hell are the travels and adventures of Little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulger? It's written in 1889. And also...
Jack, it's Barron Trump from the third future.
Oh no.
Don't trust the Paladins. Make the timeline great again.
Wait, don't trust the Paladins. They both told me conflicting things. What is the third path? Barron Trump from the third future. Which way shall I go? I'm so lost. Also, Barron Trump, like, the Paladins each gave me $10 apiece. In the future, are the Trumps poverty-stricken again? Anyway, of course, the first thing I did was look up travels and adventures of Little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulger. And the Wikipedia for it, it's pretty helpful. There's an entire entry for the Barron Trump novels. It's a good place to start looking for information. And I'm just going to read you this sentence. The novels recount the adventures of the German boy Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian von Trump, who goes by Barron Trump because his name isn't Barron Trump, you see, because he's German. And so his name's Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian, and his last name isn't Trump; it's Trump. So I don't know, guys. I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, this theory doesn't hold water.
This is what TikTok has to say. Just watch.
Wait, is this the Trump psychosis equivalent of when Biden people would post the Dark Brandon meme acting like everything is going according to plan? Yes. Except I'm pretty sure even the people who were posting Dark Brandon knew it was ironic. I don't know that Trump supporters think that this is not real and are doing it ironically. That's kind of the problem.
Donald Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, worked for the FBI. Now, when Nikola Tesla died, they sent him in because he's a scientist, he's a physicist, engineer, smart guy. So they're like, hey, go in to Nikola Tesla's, room and decipher all his works and whatnot. Because, Nikola Tesla discovered free energy and a multitude of things, right? So Donald Trump's uncle goes in there and says, we didn't find anything. A bunch of BS. You don't think that Nikola Tesla, who had discovered free energy and manipulated electromagnetism, which had that you can, in theory, bend time, light, and space, this man's works was confiscated by him and he didn't find anything?
So that...
What you mean? You mean to tell me that Thomas Edison, a guy who had all kinds of electrical know-how and abilities, like, they searched his lab and they didn't find anything? Anything? You mean to tell me that, like, Sir Isaac Newton, guy who discovers gravity with an apple, they search his lab, they don't find anything? Anything? Archimedes, this guy who comes up with all these crazy inventions, they search his lab, and you mean to tell me they don't come up with anything? He was literally talking about different physical constructs that could bend reality to his will. They don't find anything? Makes you think.
Is the theory that has taken TikTok by hold. And you might be thinking, okay, Brett, like this is so weird. It is TikTok, brain rot. Who even are these podcasters with the dramatic music behind it? Like, no. Let's just, cut the tape. Let's move on. This is crazy. But here's the thing. They aren't necessarily saying anything that's untrue because Trump's FBI uncle did, after his death, go through Tesla's research. Listen to this.
Whoa.
Jack, Paladin from the
No.
fourth timeline. You can't trust any of the others. They have time machines and didn't kill Hitler.
Wait, what about you, Paladin from the fourth timeline? Did you kill Hitler?
Jack, it's me, Nikola Tesla. There's no time to explain. Quickly before the Paladins and Baron catch up to me, you must.
No, I'm too much is riding on my shoulders. Also, okay, so Trump's uncle in the FBI.
On January 9th, 1943, 2 days after Nikola Tesla died destitute in a New York City hotel, the FBI called MIT professor and esteemed electrical engineer John G. Trump to determine if any of the belongings in the investor's estate, which included a purported weapon of mass destruction that Tesla called the death ray, would be dangerous if they fell into enemy hands. So that actually happened. That's Trump's connect.
Well, you see, the speculation about Archimedes actually being a time traveler, well, it gets a little suspicious because after his death, many rumors circulated about the efficacy and the deadly nature of one of his most terrifying inventions, the heat ray. But when they went to Donald Trump's great grandfather, esteemed Professor Drumpf from the School of Engelberry in Greece, he didn't find nothing in Archimedes' lab. It really makes you think.
To Nikola Tesla. And there is a theory out there that Nikola Tesla was already time traveling in a sense, that he was, receiving information from the future. He was possibly even in contact with aliens. I know you're probably going like, Brett, hold on. But guys, this is not even like a weird 4chan TikTok theory. Look at this clip from the History Channel.
Some ancient astronaut.
It's from the History Channel, guys. This isn't from any podunk 4chan board. No. This is from the History Channel, guys. That's how you know it's for real. Don't look at what program it was on the History Channel. It aired on the History Channel. And that is as good as fact. All right? That is as good as fact.
Theorists believe there may be another explanation for Tesla's uncanny abilities and mysterious visions. They suggest these spontaneous episodes are proof that Tesla was receiving information from an otherworldly source.
These images would literally burst into his mind. Somehow, somewhere, some connection was made. And it's the same way that biblical prophets received their prophecy.
I really hate everything. Why don't these people talk about the only real time traveler account, Saint Germain, who is this Tesla nerd? Does he even spellcraft? Number one, I can't escape ancient aliens. I can't do it. Number two, I love when conspiracy theories boil down to a guy had ideas. Clearly, he must be a witch, a demon, an alien, or a time traveler. Because he had ideas. And we all know you can't have ideas without one of those four things being true. Or a prophet. But it's just like... It's also not surprising because the Ancient Aliens premise is born out of the idea that indigenous people were too dumb to have been able to, construct wonders on their own. So instead, they must have been getting instructions from a superior species or race from elsewhere, right? The entire building blocks of Ancient Aliens is actually a product of Nazi esotericism. Like when the Nazis got together a bunch of like archaeologists and experts in the occult and sent them out around the world, like their takeaway wasn't, wow, indigenous people were really smart because human beings are smart and we're able to figure this shit out. Instead, they just pounded the achievements of indigenous people into their pre-existing racist worldview centered on Aryans. It's really stupid. And I can't believe in 2026 we're still dealing with the same bullshit. 3 things. Where do you think the time travelers got their info from originally? I mean, the only sense I can answer that question in is in the same sense that we're all time travelers. We're just all traveling forward relatively at the same rate through time together. That's the only sense in which we're time travelers. So where did we get our information from originally? The past. Eric Von Daniken is weird with racism. He believes in blue, red, yellow, orange, and green souls, and different races have different colored souls. That's just like, I'm sorry, that's just taking like 17th century racial categorization and applying it to the spiritual level as well, because that's also what they talked about when it came to like racism in the early days of like codifying what race was, you know, which kind of came out of the burgeoning like anthropology movement within the sciences. You know, that's just Undertale. It's unfortunately not in the way that ancient alien theorists do it. Dude's literally gone. He's an advanced racist. It's true. He's ascended the ranks. He's on top of the dare I say, racist pyramid.
Nikola Tesla was clearly in touch with something.
You have to wonder if extraterrestrials themselves weren't feeding him images of inventions that only he could understand.
Yeah, man. Couldn't be this little thing people call imagination. Couldn't possibly be that. Must have been aliens beaming images into his brain.
I mean, the entire thing just freaks me out. Like, I've watched that clip multiple times now as I've been putting together the episode. I get chills every single time. I don't like think.
I get chills every single time.
You have a God-shaped hole.
God, it's these, like, part of the issue that I have here, right, is that a lot of people get sucked into the web of conspiracism in the same way Brett Cooper is right now, which is that they start off by just like enjoying them as like silly stories, like, oh, it's so fun. And then it starts to take on a life of its own. People start internalizing this shit, or they have accepted it unquestioningly and not critically engaged with what is actually being said by this pseudoscientific movement. And it winds up causing deep intellectual problems in the people who've uncritically absorbed this information. It's a cognito hazard, really. Because you get people unconsciously agreeing with like this idea that like indigenous people couldn't possibly have built a pyramid by themselves. And it gets you on board with this idea that like, oh, people have been in contact with aliens forever, it just hidden it for some reason. And we know about aliens now, but they're being hidden for some reason by someone. And like, you can see here that the questions posed by the very existence of a conspiracy theory like this connect into other conspiracy theories, right? That is what makes it so dangerous for people to like treat ancient aliens as like harmless fun, you know? I miss left-wing conspiracy cranks. My grandpa used to have very coherent and well-researched conspiracy theories about the CIA. I mean, the difference is that the CIA actually did heinous, fucked up shit. You know, like, the conspiracy theories about the CIA aren't conspiracy theories, they're just true. The CIA just did that shit. The CIA just planted exploding cigars for real as assassination attempts. I don't know, it's just not comparable. Like, the conspiracy theories people have on the left are rooted in fact. and generally not conspiracy theories. They're just actual conspiracies. Day 22, I'm almost at the summit of Mount Racism. Navigation is hard without my Sherpa who left when I told him the pinnacle was only for superior races. I am suffering from severe snow blindness, which has made my vision all bright white as God intended. That was a 10 out of 10 post, Paladin.
Thinking about those things, it is very unnerving to me personally. I also loved this comment underneath History Channel's video, and somebody said, imagine being so intelligent that people think you are in contact with aliens, which is pretty epic. So now tying this all back together, the alleged conspiracy goes that what actually happened 2 days after Nikola Tesla's death was that Trump's uncle did find something in his hotel room. He found Tesla's time travel plans and
that Sherpa's name? Barron Trump. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs.
A genocidal zombie cult is controlling a giant whale monster is the biggest conspiracy theory?
God damn it.
Now the entire Trump family, maybe some elites, but the Trump family for sure, has access to this kind of technology, and that runs congruently with Barron, the time-traveling boy from the 1800s theory as well. Or the other theory is that Lockwood, the author, was just some kind of prophet. So there are two theories here. Trump family time.
The idea that you can just say something, and if you happen to be right, these people will call you a prophet. Literally just claim as many things as possible, and in like write it all down, and in 10 years, like you can make an excellent lifelong grift for your retirement off of these conservative saps who can be easily duped into believing your every word, apparently. You know, like, it's so stupid.
Travelers, a prophet from the 1800s, maybe they work together, I have no idea, but that is what people are talking about. Now, there is also a whole other rabbit hole you can go down with Tesla. The theory is that he was murdered by the government because he found out how to make energy free, which you can read here. It claims that Nikola Tesla discovered a way to provide unlimited or nearly free wireless electricity to the world, and that powerful bankers, industrialists, or the government stepped in because it would destroy energy profits. Now, people love this theory. A lot of people are 100% sold on it. It's also very in line with theories like the sinking of the Titanic, where people claim that JP Morgan, who owned the parent company of the Titanic, was one of the creators of the Federal Reserve, that he actually sunk the ship because
you can actually see what Brett Cooper is actually putting on display right now is really interesting to me, because it is exactly what I've been talking about. You know, I've talked for years about this idea of the conspiracy singularity, right? Like the idea that all of these conspiracy theories can click together and they all like go around one central point, right? There's an event horizon when it comes to like Jewish people, you know? All of these conspiracy theories ultimately can be slotted in with a specific type of racism, bigotry, etc., scapegoat, if you will. And it works with trans people and also Jewish people, you know? And what is really interesting to me here is that Brett Cooper is actually demonstrating how all of these can fit together and build on top of each other to create an entire psychosis within just this one video, right? Like, she started with Barron Trump is a time traveler, and then got to, well, also Nikola Tesla might have been a time traveler who's also connected to aliens, and also the writer of the Barron Trump books might be a prophet, and also, you know, the government was trying to suppress the truth about Nikola Tesla's inventions, and also, you know, there was free energy that the markets and industrialists and globalists wanted to destroy and suppress that information. And you see how that also dovetails nicely with how JP Morgan and one of the original creators of the Federal Reserve deliberately sunk the Titanic. And like, it all goes together and it's all bullshit. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And by getting bigger, it invites other conspiracy theories in. And all of them can circle around that same gravitational conspiracy force of wanting to scapegoat a vulnerable population, right? I mean, it's actually incredible how she is putting all of this together in a way that is, I think, really useful. If you have never seen this happen or seen this work before, this is exactly what I talk about when it comes to conspiracy theories.
Allegedly, 3 major opponents of establishing the Fed were on board. They were
I wonder if this connects to Nazi esotericism. Yes, it does. We already connected it via the ancient aliens.
To try to convince him, or they were going to stop him from being able to establish the Fed. He was also supposed to get on the Titanic and sail with them. He got ill last minute and pulled out. Then mysteriously, the ship, hit an iceberg and sunk. Not trying to go down more rabbit holes, but just saying those theories are kind of connected there. Just throwing it all out there. Now, speaking of throwing things out, have you made the switch to Pure Talk? Now, paying...
Oh, God. Brett Cooper is one of the best when it comes in the conservative sphere at introducing her ads. Just, this wealthy globalist banker orchestrated the sinking of the Titanic. Anyway, Pure Talk. Pure Talk.
You have a God-shaped hole.
For when you have a God-shaped hole. And the only truly fulfilling thing.
Hey, you know what? You know when it's really fun to be railed animalistically by a man who loves you?
And that man, Jesus Christ.
$70, $80, $90 a month to big wireless for unlimited data is insane. You've looked at claim unlimited need, and that and pro-baby, not just pro-life, they empower with
the pre-board. But back to sinking the Titanic.
time traveling conspiracies, because we still have more. So to make this entire thing just crazier, everybody's talking about Barron Trump. They're talking about 1800s Donald Trump. At the same time, simultaneously on social media, there are a few other time traveling allegations that have also gone viral. For example, this was an email that Jeffrey Epstein was CC'd on in 2011, and it went viral after the most recent drop of some of the Epstein files. So in this email, this person says, Seth, we should explore the biological consequences of time travel. It would be amusing to calculate the rate of evolution of a population or a mutant that can travel in time. Signed, M. Casual. Why not, Seth? Let's just CC Jeffrey. Why not? It's a Monday afternoon. What time did they send this? 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon. Let's explore it. Why not? It would be amusing to see what would happen to a society if time travel was real. So that.
Yeah, but also, Jeffrey Epstein, in all of his communications ever, in all the reporting on him, was an immense dullard who, couldn't wrap his head around science. And he just had a huge interest in it and asked very weird, often sexually charged questions about it. And, yeah. I just have a feeling here that, this is just another element of that. He had back and forths with scientists about how to make trans women harems, because biologically he believed that that was the biological use for trans women, to essentially be guilt-free sex bots for him and his friends. And yeah, he also, on a similar basis, he wasn't into trans men, so he was just kind of we should probably get rid of them. Yeah, it's really weird to see that back and forth going down from the Epstein files. But that's what I mean, right? He talked about a lot of weird shit. A lot of weird shit.
That was some weird shit.
Went viral a couple of months ago. Now, in addition to that, there have been a few instances of inactive X accounts allegedly predicting the future. For example, people found a random X account that only had one post. In 2023, this person posted the name of the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, Cole Allen. Nothing else. Never posted any other thing, just simply his name, Cole Allen, in December of 2023. Now, where this really gets trippy and
no one else could have ever posted that confluence of names. Signed M talking about mutants, aka Magneto. God, are there no heroes left? I can't believe he's in the files. I expected Professor X, but not you, Magnus. Thank you for the $5 super chat, David Cliff.
Like makes the hair on my arm stand up a little bit, is that Cole Allen interned at NASA in 2014. And that happened to be the same year that NASA released a paper that was co-authored by a man named Henry Martinez. Look at the name on this X account. Henry Martinez. Now, Henry and the other authors of this paper were all connected to Lockheed Martin, and this is the PDF pulled directly from the NASA website. The document ID is there in the hyperlink if you guys want to zoom in and look at that in case anybody really wants to get into the nitty-gritty of this paper, but it is called Testing Orion's Fairing Separation System, and this is—
Yeah, there's no way any of this could be totally unrelated and or somebody fucking with you. Dog, this is an ARG. I mean, that is how they treat these, right? Like, conservatives treat conspiracy theories like an augmented reality game, which is why they love them so much, right? Like, they treat them like that, but what winds up happening is they get in too deep in the game and they forget that they're playing a game, and instead, like, their pattern recognition has just been weaponized to serve the conspiracy theory. That's it. That's all that's all that happens. Right? Eventually they get in so deep in the ARG, they can't see anything but the ARG. It's like, if you've ever seen like a conservative Christian who has gone down like the numerology hole, and they just like start listing off like, well, it makes sense because there are 7 days in the week and God rested on the final day. And really, so that leaves you with 6. And what is half of 6? It's 3. 3 is the Holy Trinity. Like they just start like listing off numbers as if it means anything. They prayed to AR Jesus. That was really good, Brutus Magnuson. That was really fucking good.
Is really where it gets even weirder for me, because not that this all wasn't strange already, but in my mind I thought, okay, well, they were working at NASA at the same time, obviously.
There was a literal look at all the sevens caller on the line After Dark last night. Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
This guy was some kind of researcher, Lockheed Martin, this was an intern. But you know, it was the same year, maybe they crossed paths. Did they chat in the cafeteria? Like, did he know him? Did he just make a random post with his name? I don't know. Like, it's just, maybe they knew each other, was my first thought. But no, when you look into it, Henry Martinez from NASA was working on the Orion program, which was based in Houston, Texas. Cole Allen was an intern at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which was based in Pasadena, California. So there is barely a chance that they crossed paths. And now to make things even weirder, I feel like I keep saying that, like, to make it even weirder, let's go further.
It's not, you're not making it weirder, you're just finding random associations. That's it. That's not weird. You can find random associations between anything. It's the entire basis for, like, the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like, this would be like playing 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but like, attributing like actual significance to it, which you shouldn't.
But I mean, that's really what we're doing here. This same Henry Martinez account has this as its cover photo. I first looked at that and I was like, okay, interesting, dripping paint, I don't know, abstract, something you'd see at a modern art museum. But then people on X pointed out that that banner is the header of the EU's Time Machine website. And then people took it even further, because when you alter the image, I don't know how people are doing this, but they realize that it looks eerily similar to Trump at Butler yelling, fight, fight, fight.
I am the intellectual equivalent of an assault rifle.
Not gonna lie, I'm taking some mental damage on this one, folks. I'm taking some mental damage on this one, folks. Oh God. I just, yeah, when you superimpose an image on another image, then make it does tend to start looking like what your brain has suggested it looks like. You know, it like, your brain is very susceptible to suggestion. Can I just, you know, we're gonna back this up real quick. I need to have the appropriate framing here. Okay.
I keep saying that, like, to make it even weirder, let's go further, but I mean, that's really what we're doing here. This same Henry Martinez account has this as its cover photo. I first looked at that and I was like, okay, interesting, dripping paint, I don't know, abstract, something you'd see at a modern art museum. But then people on X pointed out that that banner is the header of the EU's Time Machine website. And then people took it even further, because when you alter the image, I don't know how people are doing this, but they realize that it looks eerily similar to Trump at Butler yelling, fight, fight, fight. As you can see right there. Like, I saw all of this and I was like, oh my God, I'm literally going crazy. I need to pull my head out of the sand. I need to go touch some grass because I am like going down too many rabbit holes. Like, I understand how people online lose their minds because this is all so crazy.
I just had to do that. Because, like, this is what genuinely hooks conservatives into their radicalization pipelines, right? Like, they get prompted to see what conservative talking heads prompt them to see, and they get sucked into these conspiracy theories, and they never get out. Brett Cooper is doing this. What is this?
Image, and then it literally finds the mathematically optimal way to rearrange the pixels to make them look like this picture of Obama, which is then fed into a fluid dynamics physics simulation that moves the pixels into the perfect Obama arrangement. Now, you might wonder, how is this useful at all?
30 minutes ago, avoid the Barron time travel video or you will suffer a severe migraine.
Thanks, Red from 30 minutes ago.
I wondered that too, so I used it to make this state-of-the-art drawing program that slowly turns whatever you're drawing into Obama. This is really useful because, like, when you're drawing something, but like when you're drawing, you forget that like what you actually want to draw is Obama. It's 2 a.m.
We're too late. God, that was Comrade Girl 2018. That it was literally that. That's what's happening here. We're all Obama now. We are all Obama.
Crazy. I cannot even fathom how people went down this rabbit hole in the first place and made these connections. I am not that expert of a researcher. I am just compiling the information for you guys in an interesting story, but it truly...
Yeah, you're not a great researcher, but also... I love how she's essentially just trying to like thread this needle of like, I'm merely compiling information for you. I have no opinion one way or the other.
Is wild, but I hate to tell ya, we still aren't finished. We have more to dive into because another random inactive account, this one back in 2022, seemingly predicted the 2026 outbreak of hantavirus that the world is now seeing unfold. This person said it's soothsayer account, June 11th, 2022. 2023, Corona ended. 2026, hantavirus. And if you don't know, there is a strain of a rat virus. I think it is transported through like rat feces, but there is also a human strain called like the Andes hantavirus. There was an outbreak on a cruise ship. Now it's popping up all over the world. It's crazy. If you have not seen it, get your like coronavirus TikTok dances ready, get the fluffy coffee ready. We might be back in lockdown. I don't know, but it's weird. So yeah, take that as you will. Maybe time travel really does exist. Maybe everybody in the world gets to play with it except for us. I have no idea. Or maybe these are just a bunch of very, very odd coincidences. Now, as a little aside...
Yeah, who could say? You know, like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Who can say? You be the judge. You guys with your massive brains. I don't know, like, hantavirus existed? Like, hantavirus has been around for a while? It's not unknown? Like, it has a Wikipedia page. It's been around since 1913. No, Jack. Everyone knows scary diseases only were invented after the 2019 lab leak. It couldn't possibly be an online shit poster choosing a random obscure virus to, like, predict to come into being as, like, the next pandemic. And also, just want to throw out there, if they did choose the hantavirus as the next big pandemic, it's not a good prediction. It kills people too fast. It kills people too fast for it to be a good vector for a pandemic. It would have to mutate to be less deadly and more transmissible, and it hasn't done that. It's kind of like how Ebola. It's very transmissible, but it's super, super deadly. It's the anti-rat lobby. Ah, yes, the anti-rat lobby. Can't let the ratman get ahead. Play Plague Inc. people. Unironically, Plague Inc. has done a lot to teach people about transmissibility.
Before we get into the final chapter of this episode, I do want to say all of this reminds
I predict that there will be people who die in the next 100 years. Whoa, everybody! Looks like we got a prophet on our hands.
Me of a really fun time traveling TV show that I watched many years ago. It actually came out in 2016.
You're right on. My dad is an infectious disease doc of 40 years and said not to sweat it. Yeah.
It was called Timeless. It only had 2 seasons, but I loved it. If you like this kind of stuff, sci-fi, but also you're a history buff, there's a little bit of romance in there. If you want more of this, go check it out. I love it. I might go rewatch it. I'm pissed that they never renewed it after that 2nd season, but anyway, go watch it. It's called Timeless. If you want more of this type of thing, you will enjoy it. Anyway, again, I don't know how many times I can say it.
If you want more of this type of thing, except it's not the same thing, right? That's kind of one of my issues here, which is that conservatives treat conspiracy theories and ways of viewing the world as if they are the same as a television show, right? She's talking about very real ways in which people view the world. It can seem like it's all fun and games, right? When we're abstractly talking about different concepts, it's like you're doing world building in D&D, and you're just talking about a fictional group of people, you know. Anders Nora, thank you for the 100 DKK. Donkey Kong. They talk about it as if it's not a real thing, except that people literally have killed over their conspiracy theory ideas. People have killed their own children, have drowned them, or poisoned them. They have looked their spouse in the eye and said, "I'm sorry," as they've killed them, and then themselves. People will refuse to get medical treatment over these conspiracy theories. Yeah, there are literal UFO cults. And there is a degree to which this isn't just fun and games, because when you actually do believe, for example, that there is a global conspiracy theory to sink the Titanic, and it's connected to global finance, and you believe in this concept that ancient aliens must have helped create advanced technology because indigenous people were too primitive to have ever done anything smart or intelligent. And in fact, what's happening is that Jewish people are controlling it all from behind the scenes, because they're lizard people or whatever. Those are ideas that have profound effects on people's lives. Those, even if you just buy into 1 or 2 parts of that, of those ideas, that has a profound effect on the way you live, on the way you see the world, on the way you treat other people. She's treating it like it's just television, like it's just a fun popcorn show to watch with your hubby on the couch. And it's not, right? I don't think anyone's ever killed someone over the plot of Timeless, the television series. And the problem is, there is a level of unreality that conservatives push with everything, where it's Donald Trump's owning the libs. He's not actually doing any real harm. He's just owning the libs. He's making the libs sad. And that is a goal in and of itself, because it entertains us to make the libs sad in an abstract way. But what does that actually translate into? It actually translates into abject misery for millions of people. It translates into concentration camps, into torture, into the systematic defunding of people's benefits to get food and housing. The fictionalized version of it that a lot of conservatives believe in for fun has real world effects, both on themselves and on the people around them. And it's one of the reasons why I think it's really important for people to get knocked out of this Trump cult, this MAGA cult, this idea that this cult of personality around Donald Trump, where everything has gone such to shit that his believers are now just fabricating like time travel conspiracies about his son. It's really weird, but I think it's indicative of like the MAGA world kind of falling apart under the onslaught of reality itself, on the consequences that come after fucking around. So I don't know, that's just kind of where I'm at. Somehow this video goes on for another 6 minutes and I am intensely curious.
This gets weirder. All of this is so crazy. And I personally find stories like this, deep dives like this, really interesting, very entertaining and intriguing. Some online, I know, will call this brain rot. They're like, why is Brett Cooper giving this time? But I actually think that there is something really interesting and relevant to take away from all of this. And that actually goes back to Lockwood's book, The Last President. And this is where I kind of want to take a step back from the time travel aspect and actually look at what Lockwood was writing about. And sure, you know, some people might say, yes, it's a prophecy. He was from the future. He knew what was going to happen. But we could also just say that in 2026, we are simply repeating American history. Because when you actually look at what was happening in America in 1896 when Lockwood wrote The Last President, it is almost disorienting how familiar everything feels. Because in 1896, we had a country that had just come through a massive economic collapse and there was a massive wealth discrepancy. This was the Gilded Age. There is also a TV show based on that if you want to go watch that. But regular people in America were watching wealth be consolidated at the very tippity top of society. Meanwhile, their farms were being foreclosed, their wages were being crushed. They felt like the entire political and economic system was rigged against them, which honestly it kind of was. Again, true story. That's what we're dealing with now. Meanwhile, the world was experiencing rapid change in terms of industry. There was rapid industrialization and innovation that was dramatically changing the job landscape and career paths for young people. It was changing wages forever. So everybody in the world was having to adapt to that. And so around this time, then in walks a populist candidate. This is a true story. He's a Democrat, William Jennings Bryan. He was this unhinged, crazy outsider that terrified the establishment in DC in America, but he electrified normal Americans. He made them feel empowered. He made them feel like they had a chance to stand up against the man, like he was their voice up in Washington. And that candidate, William Jennings Bryan, he was the inspiration behind Lockwood's protagonist in the book, The Last President. So all around the country, which Lockwood writes about, this is like in real American history, protests were firing off as angry, disgruntled Americans were standing up to this big business, big government. The anarchist and socialist movements really took hold around that time. Like the unrest in the country was just incredibly, incredibly significant. And essentially, Americans, in large part, thanks to this political outsider who ran, I think, 3 times for president, he never won though, they started to realize how rigged the system was and how fragile the institutions truly were. Plus, they were all—
Yeah, and I wonder what kind of solutions they came up with. General Americans, you know, working class Americans. I wonder what their solution was to all of that. If only a history buff could look into what came out of the unrest, you know, like maybe some kind of labor union and the labor unions and the demand for some kind of antitrust enforcement.
All pitted against each other. Cities were burning. Protests were taking hold. Again, like you heard about at the top of the episode, like everybody protest.
Holy shit, she's so close to getting it. She's not going to though. Like we all know that she's not going to get it. So like, I'm just intensely curious how she's going to dodge.
And marching down Fifth Avenue, that was real. And so I'm thinking about all of this as I'm looking into his book and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that sounds familiar. Like I listened to this paragraph from the book. This starts one of the chapters. The fateful year of 99. Upon its coming in, found the Republic of Washington in dire and dangerous straits. The commercial and industrial boom had spent its force, and now the frightful evils of a debased currency, coupled with demoralizing effects of rampant paternalism, were gradually strangling the land to death. Capital, ever timid and distrustful in such times, hid itself in safe deposit vaults or fled to Europe. Labor, although really hard-pressed and lacking the very necessities of life, was loud-mouthed and defiant. Socialism and anarchism found willing ears into which to pour their burning words of hatred and malevolence. And the consequence was that serious rioting broke out in the larger cities of the North, often taxing the capacities of the local authorities to the utmost.
It's so true. The socialists who wanted workers to have rights poured out their hateful words and managed to materialize riots. Riots presumably made up by middle class, even-handed, relatively stable income people. Oh wait, no, that wasn't the case. The people who wound up rioting and protesting and marching were doing things like marching to get their children out of the fucking, labor mills, get their kids out of the mines. Hey, just out of curiosity, here, I'm just gonna Google mill children march. Ah, yes. March of the Mill Children. This would be in 1903, approximately 4 years after the time period Brett Cooper's talking about. The March of the Mill Children, the 3-week trek from Philadelphia to New York by striking child and adult textile workers, launched on July 7th of 1903 by Mary Harris Mother Jones, trained public attention on the scourge of child labor and energized efforts to end it by law. Jones, the storied Irish-born labor organizer, came to Kensington section of northern Philadelphia in mid-June of 1903 to rally support for some 46,000 textile workers, including many youths who were staging the largest strike in city history to demand a reduced work week of 55 hours and a ban on night work by women and children. Told that newspapers were ignoring child labor because mill owners were stockholders, she retorted, "I've got stock in these little children and I'll arrange a little publicity." A fierce opponent of child labor and a masterly tactician, Jones seized on a march of young workers as a way of publicizing the strike while also exposing the evils of child labor and the excesses of industrial capitalism. Children were sent to work in local coal mines and mills to supplement meager family incomes and as a result suffered stunted growth and maiming injuries. The 1900 census reported that 1/6 of American children under the age of 16 were employed, likely a gross undercount. More children worked in textile manufacturing than in any other trade. By 1900, textile factories and allied trades dominated Kensington, an early manufacturing center. At a rally in Kensington's Labor Lyceum Hall, Jones revealed plans to lead an industrial army of hundreds of child strikers and their parents on a march of nearly 100 miles to New York City to dramatize the cause. She later expanded the itinerary to include a pilgrimage to President Theodore Roosevelt's Long Island summer home to plead for child labor laws. The marchers left Kensington to the sound of fifes and drums, heading to Bristol and Morrisville in Pennsylvania. From there, dwindling in numbers, fed and sheltered by Unionists, farmers, socialists, and other allies, the ragtag crusaders slogged through heat and rain into the manufacturing belt of New Jersey, soliciting donations and staging rallies, often attended by thousands. Their route extended from Trenton, Princeton, and New Brunswick, north to Elizabeth, Newark, and Paterson, then into Passaic and Jersey City. Like, the time that she is talking about is a time when, like, they rioting was literally against, like, children being forced to work and, like, sacrificing their limbs so that their families could eat, right? Like, the thing that she is describing without looking, she might be a historian, according to her own words, but she is glazing over some of the most heavy-hitting reasons people were going on strike and organizing as workers in the United States at the time. But no, it was just the hateful words of the socialists. Gee whiz, I wonder why the socialists might have some heated words for the people who were employing children and sacrificing their limbs to make a bigger profit. Who can say?
Like, I read that paragraph and I was like, that could literally be written right now. This is something that would, like, come into my inbox from a Substacker that I subscribe to, and I would not think anything of it, and yet that was written in 1896. So, all of this to say, I'm looking at all of this, I'm, hearing, oh my God, Lockwood was this, prophet of sorts, and I'm looking at his novel, his novella, and I see Lockwood writing from a place of fear. He was concerned about what would happen next in this country, considering the political climate that he was living in, and he was exploring what could happen if this
I just want to point out, it's not really that strange that in 1896 someone would write about socialism as a concept, considering in 1872 the Communist Manifesto was published in America. So it's not it's a pretty contemporary idea. that quickly took on vim and vigor in a deeply exploited America.
Outsider that he was watching campaign throughout all of these years if an outsider like William Jennings Bryan actually got into office. And in my opinion, he did what great authors do best, which was observing the world around him and writing about it, spinning a tale based on those observations. And I think what we can take away from all of this is that maybe the political landscape that we have found ourselves in today that feels so eerily similar to what he was writing about in the late 1800s, one that can feel so volatile and hopeless, like the end is near. Everybody's talking about, 250 years, that's when a republic falls. This is the end of democracy. It's the end of America. That actually it's just something the previous generations have already experienced and they have already survived. And in my opinion, the question that Lockwood was asking throughout this entire novella was, when does a democracy, or can a democracy, ever become too divided and too distrustful to the point that it is not able to save itself? And it's kind of unfortunate. It's a black pill moment because his book actually answers the question, and he answers it with a resounding yes, like a country can become too divided to save itself. He ends the book with a capital literally being blown up. He's saying like it will end at this point of time, which is not really the message that we want to hear if we are relating this to the modern world. But the good thing is, in actual American history, the Capitol wasn't blown up. That didn't happen. We stared into the abyss. We stared into this destruction. We fought to come back, and we're still here in 2020.
And we're still here. Hey, real quick, how did we fight to come back? Real quick, what was it that saved America again? Was it something very famous? The New Deal. That's like what unfucked America for a bit before capitalists engaged in a decades-long battle to undo the New Deal. It is genuinely wild to see her like dodging
Meanwhile,
Neo
I'm
from the
still wondering
Matrix.
why Fem Shapiro decided to transition and convert. Was it the eyebrows?
Was it the eyebrows? Well, really, I know what it had to do with, and it's simply put,
the spirits like to convey the message that you should mentally see me as Gandalf.
It was me. I did it. I trans Ben Shapiro. Ma ha 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 ha. All I did was walk up to him and say, "You look like a bitch." It was all I had to do. It wasn't that hard. So they refucked the country? Yes. Conservatives refucked the country. Also, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated. And let's finish this up. I feel we're almost there.
Now, is our country perfect? Absolutely not. But it is still standing. And there are still good people that are fighting for the values of our country and fighting for what they believe an America of tomorrow can look like.
An America of tomorrow can look like. And those people are having those ideas beamed to them by aliens, okay? And those aliens are working with the lizard people who are controlling all of our finances. And they sunk the Titanic to get a big insurance windfall. And they also are replacing you. And they are also transing you. And they are behind the declining birth rates. And they are also behind why they canceled your favorite television program. And they love Ancient Aliens. It's really difficult for Brett Cooper here to go from a video that was mostly pushing conspiracy theory nonsense, because notice she brought up like a quotation from one of Ingersoll's books, but didn't bring up any quotation from like the Barron Trump stories, because if you start looking into the Barron Trump stories, like the entire conspiracy theory falls apart. Like you have to be only engaging on the most surface level. You can't look into any of it, otherwise the entire thing is pointless. And she knew that. She made a choice to push conspiracy theory nonsense slop. And you can't really end on like a heroic, and America unfucked itself, when the first half of this video is pushing absolute fucking nonsense to your audience in an effort to allow them to have fun with conspiracy theories. It just doesn't work that way. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
want to see America and all of its ideals survive. And that is a very positive thing for me to think about.
And that's why we're beaming it out into space with the help of the Nikola Tesla laser. You see, it was all covered up by Donald Trump's uncle, but now we know the truth that now that Trump is in office and he's using his uncle's death laser that was found on the Nikola Tesla's hotel room after his death to beam messages back to the aliens to give them high-level ideas. Finally, all of the aliens will be able to communicate with Dave Rubin on an equal playing field.
Tying this all back together with the time travel and the prophets and Barron Trump, all of that, like if Lockwood was actually a prophet, if he was writing about Barron Trump and what happens when Trump is president, then maybe he would have written about what actually happened. He would have written about that. Or maybe he actually is a prophet and we just have another thing coming. He was like, all right, that didn't happen in the 1800s, but get ready for 2026. So...
Oh, okay, yeah, because if anyone makes a prediction and it hasn't come true yet, just give it more time, and eventually it will come true. I'm so tired, dog. I'm so tired.
Either way, let's hold on to our hats because things are brewing. That's all I know.
All I know is that things will continue to happen. Next time on The Brett Cooper Show, things will happen. Am I a prophet? Who can say? Will you wake up tomorrow? Will you not? Who can say? It's a risk we all take every time we close our eyes, including when we blink. Maybe this next blink will be your last, and statistically, for some of you, that could be true. I'm a prophet. That's how she ended it. That is how she ended it. Sometimes I have a lot of hope in my heart for the ability of human beings to like organize and like do better. And sometimes I encounter a piece of conservative content that just like genuinely hurts my heart. And like I'm just after watching that, after experiencing that with you guys, I'm just like, man, we are cooked. Luckily, I don't think most people... I think most people are capable of a level of critical thinking to avoid getting caught in this, especially if they are armed with information beforehand. Which I am hopeful that that's what I'm doing with you guys. My hope here is that I am inoculating you from this conspiracism nonsense a little bit. But holy shit. Is it any wonder that a lot of conservatives never make it out of these conservative conspiracy bubbles? You know, like they build entire communities in there. So I do think that there is hope. I don't know, though, how you reach people who have fallen deep into the conspiracy theories, you know, other than getting them to question the frayed edges of their conspiracy theory. I don't know, like, because for every single person who gets involved in conspiracy theories, their motivation is different. So all I can say is like the way to get out of this is by making people question the conspiracy theory edges that they believe in. Like pulling off a sticker from like a antique store find. You know, you gotta pick off the edge. Oh, but man, the only way we get out of this, though, is if we organize together, we build communities with one another, we educate one another, we step up, and we like are able to say to our friends and family who are starting to get into this, actually, this is kind of bullshit and racism, and don't even go down that path, friendo. Because, like, by being fully informed or at least mostly informed and like capable of critical thought and analysis, we can inoculate ourselves and others against these conspiracy theories, at least to a degree anyway. I think everyone is susceptible to propaganda, including myself. And if you think you are not, it's usually an indicator that you are more susceptible to it. I think that by talking about it, having open conversations about some of this stuff, we can do a lot of good to act as a prophylactic of sorts, a mental prophylactic to conspiracism. I am here to tell you one of the ways you can find community and counteract your ability to be indoctrinated into conspiracy theories is to find community. Join your local Dems. Join your local DSA. Find community while also becoming politically active. Okay? Because folks can step up and help you. Folks can like get you out of that shit. Folks can like do all that while also making your community a better place. Make your Dems more progressive, make your DSA more effective. And folks, if you need help taking your first steps, we can help you do that. Join our Discord, !Discord in any of the chats. Reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. Reach out to Gamergy for help with your local DSA. We got folks who have been organizing for years who want to plug you into your local political orgs, and let us help you. We are here to help. We are here to make it easy. We've got a large community, actually, of folks who have taken that step, and we have online chats, and you can be a part of those too if you sign up and join your local Dems. All that being said, folks, if you liked any of that, if you got anything out of it, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words really help in the algorithm. And last but not least, folks, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is sexy lingerie that fits, and it's non-tuck. So go check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the doobly-doo. And let's keep on going. Actually wearing some Imogene Olivia right now, and I don't know, keeps the girls girlin', you know? Know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and Swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.